Hey traders, this is Munya and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Alright, so today I'm here with a new series that I've just started where I'll be revealing strategies written in books by other legends in trading, by other professional traders, right? So I've realized there's so many books and people might not be able to go through all of them and study them properly, right? So I've done the courtesy of studying it for you and review in short or the summary of what the book is about, and maybe you can actually, if you are interested in it, you can actually go and purchase it if they are selling it, or you can go and download it if it's for free and then read in detail about it, right? So whenever you see my book review, probably click, because it will be a new strategy that I'll be teaching that day from that book, right? So I'm gonna start off with I know it's gonna be controversial, but I'm gonna start off with Make Millions in Forex Trading, a simplified guide to making millions through trading. So this is a book by Prophet Shepherd Bushiri, the South African based prophet, right? I don't know if he's based in South Africa or what, but I'm sure most of the time he's in South Africa. So he has written a book about Forex, and I think you're probably wondering if he's a Forex trader and what his church has to do with Forex trading, right? Most of you maybe probably know him from his church, right? So I'm just gonna do a detailed summary on his book, a review actually. I am not going to share with you the book because you have to purchase it from him. If he's selling, I don't know. You have to purchase it from him. So please don't inbox me asking for his book. But what you can inbox me, which I was happy to announce, is I now have a new course, right? 16 videos ready to be started. I have simplified everything that I have learned for the past 4 years in trading. And if you want to be the best of the best and a professional trader, hit my inbox. I'll give you the course at a massive discount. If you are my subscriber, hit my inbox and get the course at a massive discount. It's gonna change your trading life. It's gonna tell you what you have to know about trading, and then you are able to be making profits from it, right? So I have never done this before. For the past 1 year I've been on YouTube, I've never sold a course, but now it's ready in 16 videos, and you get the chance to be asking me questions based on the 16 videos that I have, right? So don't miss that opportunity. Massive discount for those who are my subscribers. Get the chance to learn, right? Pay the price now so that you can pay any price in the future. So let's get right into it. So let's talk about the author. Who is this guy who wrote a book on Forex trading? We want to know, what does he do, right? So I took this from his book, so he basically wrote it himself. So Prophet Shepherd Bushiri is the president and chairman of Bushiri Investments, Shepherd Bushiri Investments, SBI. So SBI is a global investment company that specializes in investment management and wealth creation. Wow, that's great. That's great for him. That's great. So it means he's a business guy. He knows what he's doing. You can't be you can't be doing wealth creation without knowing what you're doing. So let's see what this wealth creation includes. So SBI has diverse operational subdivisions that include SB Airways, wow, PSB Mobile, wow, SB Real Estate, SB Stock Exchange, okay, SB University, SB Minerals, just to mention a few. Wow. So already you can see that this guy is the real deal. He's got airlines, he's got real estate, he's got a stock exchange, he's got a mobile service he's a mobile service provider. He's into minerals. He's got a school. He's a good guy, probably. So probably wrote some sense into this book, right? I'm sorry, for the business, colleagues of Shepherd Bushiri are within a doubt extraordinary to that of a human being in this generation, okay? Through his divine insight, he shares in this book the secret wisdom that he gained through his life to acquire such as success in business. All right. So already now you have a picture of this guy. I think most of you know him as a prophet. Probably know him as just a prophet. I think that's what he's most famous of in South Africa. But then here you get a chance to know what exactly he does to make money, right? So he's got all these investments, and probably to have all these investments, you must be a good researcher. You must be knowing what you're doing. You must be making profit in some of these to keep them running, right? So you must be making money. You must know what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, you must be smart, right? Okay. So I'm gonna start off by showing you what the book has. That's the content, and obviously, it started with the foreword and introduction, and in this introduction, it talks about what trading is. It talks about a lot of stuff, and then it talks about the background of forex trading. It tells you where trading comes from, actually, how it all started, right? So it's actually a good book, because in his book he then relates it with the Bible. So he tells you this thing was there during biblical times, right? I don't know if there's a way like that, but he tells you you can even find forex trading in Bible, and he has verses to prove for that. That's very good. And then he talks about this forex. He talks about forex and the stock market. I think here he was now using his knowledge from his other businesses, because he was now talking about the stock market, which means he knew about companies and stuff like that, because he owns so many companies. He knows how things are done. He was also relating it to forex trading, which is a good thing. He was sharing with you what he knows. And then he also talks about the forex trading strategies, right? Here, I want to be frank with you. I couldn't find exactly what he meant. I couldn't find a strategy that I can say, as a trader, I can do this and this and this and make 20 pips. No. I want to be honest. But what I found was so many explanations on what a strategy is and why you need one. But for me to say I found a strategy ABCD or price action or BDMM or ICT or any strategy that you know, no, I haven't. But maybe when you read it, maybe it was in a hidden way. I don't know. Right. Then he talks about the prophetic trading, which was a little bit new to me. I have never heard of it before. Yes, I'm a Christian, and prophetic trading, we'll get to that. And then he talks about the trading psychology, which I greatly applaud of him, because this is one of the most important. I think trading is 90% psychology and 10% actually buying or selling. Right? You have to have a proper psychology when trading, and he explained it in this book. So he knows about trading. I think everyone who is into trading should know that you need the best psychology, and I commend him for pointing it out and sharing with you. Right. So the foreword, I just want you to read this, because it was full of vocabulary. It was rich. I liked it. So he said, a multiplicity of experts with exorbitant intellect as well as knowledgeable businessmen have defined forex trading in heterogeneous ways. Wow, I've never read a sentence that's so rich. So this guy knows what he's doing. He knows his work. is full of knowledge. You can actually tell that you can't write this if you don't know what you're talking about, because this was rich. So he says, some say, I'm quoting, remember, this is not my book. I do not have copyrights to it. And so please don't ask me in the inbox to share with you this book, because you have to purchase it from the owner, right? So disclaimer, you just heard it. I'm not a financial advisor, blah, 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 blah. I'm not all that. So he says, some say that it is a market in which there is a performance of current exchange, while others say that it is a speculation on the price of one currency against the other, right? So what he's saying, this is actually factual. It's the performance of a current exchange, right? So you can actually see, by looking at forex trading, you can actually look at a currency and see how it's performing, and then you can actually relate it to the country, right? And see how the economy of that country is performing, which is true. And again, you can also look at it as just speculation of prices, which is also true. So he was right. And then I quote again, later in this book, we also find that forex trading is also a reputable platform for growing money that even God espouses. Now, this is when he starts incorporating the Bible and finance, right? Because he's got verses to support this, and I actually read the verses, and it actually makes sense to include them. So this is different. That's one thing. This is a different book. This is a different book. Let me tell you, this is a different book, because I don't think there's ever anyone else who has managed to do this, to incorporate the Bible and finance, or the Bible and forex trading, to be specific, right? But he did it. So this is a one and only. This is a one and only must read, because that's where you only find. That's where you only find it. I have people asking me, is forex trading legal? Is forex trading what? Does God want it? Now you have the proof. Now you have the proof, right? So he said, it goes on to say, when you also take time to read the Bible, you find that currency trading is by no means a new concept. The earliest evidence of exchange have been traced to have occurred in ancient times. So he's actually giving you a background, the real background. I think this shows deep research. I've read a few books that are able to bring out this information of trading. It seems like it's something that started in the 2000s or early 80s or something. But this is something that has been there for quite a long time. Because it mentions it's actually available. It's been in the Bible. So just imagine. I don't think anyone else has ever pinpointed that. So it also gives biblical relations, like 2 Kings 7, verse 1, where it talks about Prophet Elisha having trading knowledge, right? So if you go and read that, you actually see, you can actually relate. I think that it now requires a revelation for you to see. Maybe someone can just read 2 Kings 7, verse 1, and not know the revelation behind it when reading the Bible. Remember, you have to have a revelation when you're reading the Bible. So he actually brings out the revelation that on 2 Kings 7, verse 1, Prophet Elisha actually had trading knowledge, which was quite new for me, to be frank. I didn't know that for real. And then he also goes to Matthew. This is now during Jesus' time, 14 to 27, sorry. Matthew 25, verse 14 to 27, actually, where he talks about, I think this is a famous story in the Bible, where the master gives his servant talents, and then some multiply them, some to a certain extent, the other one buries it and then just brings it back like that. This is a famous story, we all know it, and he actually relates it to trading. I think you have to, in this book, when you buy it, you have to get the meaning of it, right? Or you can just read Matthew 14 to 27, right? All these I've cross-referenced them, and they actually make sense, right? They actually make sense. Right. Let me also quote him where he says, any person who knows about trading will tell you that the bank can never give you a better deal on saving than trading can offer. This is actually a powerful statement, because if you actually look at it, for my side here in Zimbabwe, banks give you about 6% interest for your money in the bank. That is, if it's not a savings account. If it's not, they're actually taking money from you, right? So he was trying to point out the opportunity. If you are a beginner, a new trader, he's trying to tell you that this is a better investment than keeping your money in the bank, right? But most of the people keep their money in the bank, or they keep it under the pillow or something like that. So it's actually saying it's better for you to start trading than keeping your money, than saving, right? Although many people invest with the bank more than with personal trading, their choice of investment is not based on the results, right? So this is actually funny. If you read it, this is actually funny, because he's saying if you are the type of person that's keeping their money in the bank, that's saving, your end goal is not about results. You don't care if your money multiplies or what, right? But if you are someone ambitious who wants to deliver results, you must start trading. So it could be based on the fact that trading is not simple. Trading requires training for one to excel in it. This is an honest, free advice he's giving you. Most people think they can trade without proper training. Most people think they can trade without proper training. He also mentions that trading is not simple. Yes, that's true. If we're talking about the financial market, the biggest financial market, it cannot be easy. It cannot be easy for you. But once you have the proper training, you can do it, right? This is why you end up seeing guys like me creating courses to help you in your trainings, to help you, equip you with the proper skills that you need when trading. I'm not the only one who creates courses. I'm not the only one who trains people. There are so many people. You just have to make your choice who you want to be trained by, right? But Prophet Shepherd Bushiri is giving you emphasis that you need to have training for this particular field. That's what he's telling you in his book, right? Okay, let's move on. So he goes on to tell you about the history of how we moved from the Bretwood system to the current trading. I think it's a long history that you have to read about it. But what I just wanted to point out was there was a lot of research. There was a lot of references you would see in his book. It was not just something coming out of his head, right? This is a prophet, so you might actually think, nah, he's just saying things from his mind or from somewhere. But you actually see that he has done proper research. He now knows what he's doing. He now knows what he's talking about. He's not just saying facts, because most of these books that I see are just people saying what they think. They are not references. You cannot pinpoint anything. You cannot fact check anything. But in his book, we are able to fact check things, right? To fact check things. You can actually look about the Bretwood system that he's talking about here. The transitioning. Most people don't know what happened, why it led to this. That's why maybe most people are failing to be good traders, because they don't really know what they're doing. They're just trying to make money. But when it's now your craft, you need to know. You need to know what you're in. You need to know the ins and outs of this trading, right? So, this is actually a brief explanation of some of the things that he explains. So in his quest to enlighten you in his book, he explains how the financial institutions and influential individuals can influence Forex. Now he's not getting deeper into what really Forex trading is all about now. Okay? He's not getting deeper. He's trying to make you understand all the pillars in Forex trading, right? He's now he wants you to understand all the pillars. So he's saying individuals can influence the Forex market as they are role players in this market, with the financial institutions being the major role players of this market, since major currencies pass through their institutions, which are central banks, commercial banks, corporates, investors, and individuals. You just see what he just did here. He told you about the 4 major players in trading. So if you're new to trading, you now already know the 4 major players in trading. That is the central banks, which is basically the government, the commercial banks, which is the biggest player in the game. We have the corporations, which are also influencing the market. You have the individual investors, that is you and I, the retail traders. They're in here. So if you are actually smart, you can actually see that he has actually mentioned the basics of Forex. It actually told you who are the players in the Forex market. So now we have the government, which acts through the central bank. You have the commercial banks, right? You have the companies, the corporations, and then you have the retail traders, which is you and me. So he explains how the market is adversely affected by politics and cannot be separated from politics, which is a very true thing. Everything else, this is facts. This is facts he's talking about. You must read this book. These are facts that I'm talking about, right? So furthermore, he also stated that the market is also affected when there are announcements, either politically or economically, and could be affected for people like Bill Gates, Larry Page, Mark Zuckerberg. So he mentions big names in this book. He also pointed out that individual factors include prophets who are prophetic traders to whom God gives an insight to predict the future events. Wow! We are about to get into something a little bit controversial now. We're about to get into something a little bit controversial. Yes, I agree with what he talked about, that there are big players that affect the market, like the Bill Gates, Larry Page. There's a billionaire he's talking about, right? So you can actually see he has acknowledgement for the rich, right? As a man of God, you have to know if he is aware of the rich. So here he's about to say something. He said, he gave an example of Prophet Angel, who prophesied that Donald Trump was going to win the election. Right? That's a little bit controversial. No problem. He's allowed to mention it. He's a spiritual guy, right? Was going to win the election. Thus, any trader considering this would know the impact on the market based on the prophecy. Wow. So this is what happened when Donald Trump won the election. I think that was when I was starting to trade, that back in 2016. I was new to the market. I was a newbie. I didn't know anything much, but this is what happened. I noticed this too. I don't know if Prophet Angel prophesied about it. I'm not sure about that. I didn't fact check that. But what I can fact check is him talking about winning of Donald Trump impacting the Forex market, which is actually true. This is actually true. It did impact the Forex market. It did impact the Forex market because the US dollar collapsed against currencies that are currently considered comparatively safe. So it collapsed against the euro. It collapsed against the euro. It collapsed against the pound. It collapsed against the Swiss franc. It collapsed against the Japanese yen when Donald Trump won. And I was actually confused because I was new in the market. I know I was not that much enlightened. Maybe this book was not actually there. And the market did respond to the winning of Donald Trump. So you could actually bet against the US dollars, just basically predicting that the US dollar is going to collapse against these 4 pairs. You could have made a lot of money, right? But then he mentions that they should be the prophetic. So if you were not good at doing analysis or looking at what the people are saying about Donald Trump and knowing that if he wins, it's going to depreciate the US dollar, you were not going to make those trades, right? But he's saying Prophet Angel prophesied that Donald Trump was going to win. So if you were a person who was involved in current affairs, you would know that Donald Trump was not a little bit liked, so it might it was supposed to affect the US dollar, so you could have actually just pressed sell, sell, sell from the prophecy alone. Okay, that's what I think. I want to emphasize on the prophecy part, because it talks about prophetic trading, where you don't have to be even looking at the chart to trade. So this is a summary that I got from a friend who also read the book. So I asked different people what they think about the book, and this is from a friend called Shalom. So shout out to Shalom. She wrote this good analysis, this good summary from the book, right? She also read the book. She's a trader. She pointed out things that she thought was important from the book. So I'm just going to try, and if you want to read it, you can pause and then read all of it, but I'm going to point out points she mentioned that are quite interesting. So she says the prophet also mentions in the book about the type of trader that the different types of traders that are there, right? So the swing traders, the day traders, what. She pointed out that the book also explains to you that, right? She also points out that the prophet mentions about indicators. Like, I know a lot of people have negative perspective on indicators, but the prophet mentions that you can actually use this type of indicators, moving averages, what. Although they cannot be used alone, you have to have to be able to read charts and stuff like that. So she also mentioned that. And then she also pointed out that there is another type of trading called the prophetic trading. So in the book, prophet mentions about prophetic trading. You don't use analysis. You are just trading from prophesying. I don't know how you can do that. I was perplexed with that. I don't know how you can do that. But she managed to notice that if you want to read a whole summary, you can actually pause the video and then you read it. But she also says that the prophet said you need a specific kind of grace when trading. Now that's scary now. That's scary to know that you need a specific type of grace. I'm a Christian. I understand you need grace, and I don't know how I can acquire this specific kind of trading. I don't know if I have already acquired it, but he says the Holy Spirit can give you this kind of trading. I don't want to get religious because I'm talking to different kinds of people here, but an important thing that she mentioned, that Shalom mentions in her analysis, which I liked, was she pointed out that the prophet pointed out that there is a difference between trading prophetically and gambling. I know all of you, when you heard prophetic trading, you were now thinking of gambling now, because there is no analysis, there is no principle. You are just trading based on things you are hearing in your mind. So a lot of you now had the thought of gambling, but she says, the prophet says, there is a difference between prophetic trading and gambling. And she says that a gambler is someone who risks without having any principles of that particular field guiding him or her, right? And then prophetic trading is when it's coming from God. That's when you are now a prophetic trader. It's something that is coming from God. You need to read this book, guys. You need to get all the details. So he goes on to explain what prophetic trading is, and that there is a difference between prophetic trading and actually analytical trading, right? There is a difference, and you have to know. So prophetic trading differs from analytic trading. I caught, and although prophetic trading uses signals, blah blah blah, analysis, prophetic trading does not need that. Prophetic trading can only be understood by people who are prophetic, unlike analytic. Wow. So he goes on to explain the issue of Elisha again and the kings and stuff like that in the Bible, explaining the difference between prophetic trading and analytical trading. Okay. So this becomes very interesting when you start to hear now the prophetic trading, the analytical trading. The analytical is when you're looking at the chart. So if you're someone totally new to trading, the analytical trading is when you look at the chart, you make a prediction based on what the price has been doing all along, right? And then the prophet is now saying you cannot look at the chart. You can just prophesy what the market is going to do next. Wow. I'm gonna leave that there. I respect the man of God, and I believe it's possible. I mean, anything is possible. I'm that type of guy who says anything is possible, right? Okay, I'm gonna quote again. When he talks about, he is trying to get deep into trading. Now, he's mentioning some stuff, which I'm gonna see if they are correct or not. So he says there are some currency pairs which require someone to spend a lot of money for the trade, while others need less for trade. For example, one can enter 2 trades with the same amount and the number of pips and stop loss, but the pip value differs depending on the currency pair chosen. Okay, I've been reading this book from the start, and there was no way he mentioned what a pip is. There was no way he mentioned what the stop loss is. There was no way he really, yes, there was a way he mentioned pairs, but he didn't mention what it really is, right? So if you're kind of new into trading, this is going to be confusing terms. So take note of that. So yes, what he's saying is actually factual. So if you're new to trading, what he's saying is factual. Yes, the pairs have different pip values. It's true, but he didn't say what a pip is before, so it's gonna be confusing for you. Take example, GBP, USD, and USD CHF currency pairs often have found USD CHF would have a bigger value than that, although the number of pips and stop loss are the same. Okay, so what he's basically saying is 20 pips in USD CHF has more value than 20 pips in GU, right? Based on this, based on this, it would be a strategy for a trader to avoid such currency pairs which require more fees in trading compared to those which require less fees with the same return. This means one can trade successfully and make good gains with fewer risks. It's a good advice. Yes, it is a good advice. However, this is not the case when risk and profits are managed carefully. Yes, this is straight truth. Advice for free. This is advice for free. Free advice. I'm 2 cents there. Now, let's move on to where he talks about gambling. He explains that there are people who are still having doubts and refuse to trade because they consider trading as gambling. I get this question a lot from people, from you guys, from YouTube, from my Instagram. They say, from even my family around me, they ask me things like, are you not gambling? And I always ask them, what is a gambler? And they all come up with all different types of definitions of a gambler, a person who is gambling and stuff like that. And I have come to a conclusion that, okay, maybe let me say what the prophet said about gambling, and then I'll tell you my opinion on gambling. So he says, a gambler is someone with no principles and trades out of hope instead of analysis or the prophetic. Remember, I said you can be a prophetic trader or you can be an analytical trader, right? So, sorry about that. So he says, if you're gambling, you don't have principles. You are trading based on hope, faith. Is it the same thing? I don't know. Or you have not used any analysis or any prophetic, right? Which thing comes up to almost the same opinion that I have on gamblers. I believe gamblers are people that trade based on hope. They hope the currency pair goes in their direction. Not they analyze that the currency pair goes in this direction. No, they hope it goes into that. Right? So I don't think there is a very thin line. There is a very thin line between gambling, because someone can say, I analyze football and I can see that I can bet that this team is going to win based on this analysis. This is what the gamblers do, right? So there is analysis again. So what then differentiates you from being a gambler and from being a proper trader? Some people say the fact that you can manage risk. You can manage risk on both sides, on gambling and on trading, because on gambling you can place the amount of you have the control of the bet, and also on trading you have the control of your account. So what then is the difference? I didn't get a proper explanation from the book, and it's still a mystery up to now if trading is gambling or proper. But I would say maybe if you have prophetic trading, you are not a gambler, right? Because you know what the market is going to do, because you prophesy about it. So I think all the other analytical traders and fundamental traders, we can be called gamblers, but most countries have licensed trading and did not place it as gambling, right? There's one difference. So it's a long story. It's a topic for another day, I think. So to sum this up all about the book, he wrote about the psychology of trading, which is the most important thing in trading. And he says, he talks about how one depends on the psychology for success, right? So you have to have a strong psychology. He defines psychology as the study of human behavior and thinking in relation to trading, right? So how you think, how you control your emotions, he talked about it. So basing on his, he's saying there are different types of traders. There's the trader who is emotional, who just enters and then sees red, he exits and miss out on the great opportunity. And then there's a trader who holds a loss until the account is blown, because they're afraid to lose money. So and then there's an impulsive trader who who just looks at the analysis 2 seconds and then he thinks he's buying because he sees the bullish candlesticks, and then he buys. Then when he starts to see the bearish candlesticks, he sells. So he talks about that, which is a very good aspect. And it really means a lot. So if you want to read about this summary, you can just pause the video and read it. So it then mentions that there is the best trader, who's called the cautious trader. And this is one who understands the trading principle and also uses his will regarding trading. He can enter trades with risk, although they have good potential returns. So this is the type of trader that I groom you into, right? You are able to be cautious. You know the risk, but you then enter because you know that there are potential returns when you have traded, right? So what do I think about the book? I think this was the last chapter of the book, The Psychology on Trading. This was his last chapter, and you're probably thinking, what do I think about the book and what do I say? Pretty much this is a good book, a great book, because he mentioned all the stuff he mentions are not the obvious, right? He talks about better things that you have to know, which I had not seen in any other book, which is actually good. But what you should not expect is, if you are a beginner, a complete beginner, you will not get the terminologies. So don't expect to get terminologies when you buy this book, because it does not explain any terminologies. Don't expect to get tangible strategy that you can say, this, I can do this and make money into trading. No. I think those are the two major things that you should not expect. But everything else is in the book. You have the background, you have the knowledge, you have the understanding, you have the wisdom, you have the psychology, which is a great thing. In general, you also have the inspiration, the motivation, because he also goes on to talk about his background in the book, his growth. You'll be motivated. So definitely it's a must read. Definitely it's a must read, because you'll be motivated, you'll be encouraged, you feel the support, and generally this is a great book. I would recommend it to total beginners. I would recommend it to intermediate traders. I would recommend it to a few professional traders who got up there without knowing what they're doing, right? Because the psychological part and the background stuff, you have to read it because it's actually unique. The biblical stuff is unique. What it talks about is unique, and it's very commendable. It's a great book. Go to his site. I think you see how you can purchase it from him. Please don't inbox me to send it to you, because I don't have copyrights to this book. I will not be sharing it to anyone. And this was a good time. So hope you subscribe for more. I'm gonna review more strategies. I'm gonna teach more strategies. I'm gonna summarize more books. In fact, every Friday we have a book review. So every Friday of the week you're going to see a book review that I'll post, and all the other things will remain in place. And I hope you enjoy this book when you read it, right? So don't forget to like and subscribe, then turn on your notification bell so that you're notified each and every time that I post a video. It was a great time having you guys. Peace.